Hello everyone, Sahili here from the Classcipe Operations. I got Ms. Satyan here as well from the team who will be moderating this workshop with me. Welcome to the Classcipe Expert Exchange Forum 2nd edition. Classcipe is a New Zealand-based company aiming to create a global community for educators and learners to share their knowledge and experiences. With us, you can create your unit plan and tasks more easily and customize your template with accurate content recommendations. Our platform function includes interactive slides, customized templates, online, offline, and hybrid learning functions, managing classroom, co-teach, instant feedback, and many more. Do follow us on our social media to receive more information and updates. Moving on to the issuance of certificates. The certificate of attendance will be issued to those attending the live session uninterrupted until the end. The feedback form will be sent to the chat box. You need to complete and submit it to get the certificate. We take 14 working days to issue certificates. Please note that this workshop is divided into two parts. In today's session, we will explore the IBDP External Assessment. The next session, scheduled for the 13th of July, will focus on internal assessment. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our workshop facilitator, Mr. Hendra. With over 10 years of rich experience in mathematics education, Mr. Hendra brings extensive expertise to our session today. His commitment to excellence in teaching is evident in his roles as a certified examiner, reviewer, and a math teacher. In addition to his extensive experience, Mr. Hendra has excelled in various leadership and specialized roles. He has served as a head of department, workshop facilitator, IAEE and TOK reviewer and examiner for both Cambridge and Pearson. His expertise extends across multiple curricula, including IB, Cambridge, Pearson, and NZQA, showcasing his versatility and breadth of knowledge. So everyone, please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. Hendra to our workshop today. Mr. Hendra, you can start your session now. I wish you all the best. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you, Sahili. Hi, everyone. Yeah, as she mentioned that my name is Hendra. Wait, give me a second. I need to share my screen. So welcome to our first session of Group 5 IBDP Mathematics Assessment. Yeah, as mentioned also, this workshop will be divided into two sessions. The first one, which is today, we will talk about the external assessment and how to mark the students' either tests or quizzes or end of term assessment. And then next week we will have another one which is about the deep understanding of internal assessment. Okay, I hope everyone can see the slide that I share. Please give me thumbs up
we can
if
see.
you can see it. Okay, thank you. Yeah, as mentioned by Sahili before, I've been teaching mathematics in the past maybe more than 10 years. I've been accepted as the examiner, workshop facilitator, and also reviewer for IAEEs and TOKs. I also, and my current role is as head of department. I've been teaching in various curriculums, IBDP, Cambridge, Pearson, New Zealand curriculum, and yeah, I think if you can also tell us who you are, where you come from, and how long you've been teaching mathematics in the in the text. You can type introduce yourself, please, so we know each other. Please feel free to introduce yourself, or maybe we can continue to discuss how the external assessment in IBD. The objective for today's session, we'll have 5 objectives. The first one is simplify the group 5 assessment structure, understanding the marking criteria, sample paper marking. You will get involved in that session, and then developing effective exam preparation strategies. If you may have suggestions on how do we prepare our students for their best to achieve their final exam. And then the last one, a brief introduction of the next session, which is internal assessment. Let's start with the first one. As we know, I refer this from the subject guide, which the group 5 mathematics is divided into two paths of mathematics, which is AA and AI, the analysis and approaches, as well as application and interpretation. Both of them are divided into SL and HL, which have differences in the weighting of the assessments and also the syllabus covered. Speaking of the Math AA, mathematic analysis and approaches, they have 3 papers. The first one, paper 1, which is the standard level. The weighting is 40% out of all 3, and then the students will have 90 minutes to complete the paper, and the total mark will be 80 marks. The paper 1 is no calculator required. In Math AA, there are two sections for paper 1. Section A, which is short response, which is a structured questions, and section B is the extended responses, which is the unstructured questions. In section A in SL, they will have about 7 to 8 questions, and section B will be like 2 or 3 questions. And this one, it should be higher level. It's not standard level. So this is higher level, the right one. The weighting is 30%, and the students will have 120 minutes to complete 110 marks, same as SL. There is no calculator. Section A with the short response, and section B with the extended response. For the section A, they will have about 8 to 9 questions, and section B will be 3 to 4 questions. Let's move on to paper 2. The difference between paper 1 and paper 2 is paper 1 without calculator and paper 2 with calculator. And the other requirement are the same. SL weighting 40% within 90 minutes time frame and 80 marks. Section A and section B also, as well as in the higher level. Also, this should be higher level with 30% and 120 minutes, 110 marks. Yeah, the main difference between paper 1 and paper 2 is with and without calculator. So paper 1 without calculator and paper 2 with calculator. Especially for HL, higher level, they will have, again, this will be higher level. They will have a paper 3. Paper 3 is more like an exploration itself. It's not specifically taught in the classroom. So during the students doing the paper 3, it's more into how they explore the concept they have learned in the classes. So the paper 3, the weighting is 20%, and the students will have about 60 minutes to complete the paper, and the total mark is 55 marks, and they can use a calculator. Paper 3, normally they will have 2 extended response questions. It's a problem-solving based questions. And the last assessment that the IBDP Mathematics have in Math AA is the internal assessment. Both for HL and SL, the weighting is 20%. A deeper understanding of this assessment we will discuss next week, if you would like to join. So far, do you have any question? Just pop up if you have any questions, yeah? Because I cannot see everyone's in the Zoom. Just pop up or raise your hand if you have any questions. Okay, so that's for Math AA. Mostly Math AA and Math AI will have the same structure with the same weighting. Let's move to the marking. So this is the main part of our session today. In math, in IBDP, we have 4 criteria on the marking. The first one, they normally they will use the code M, which is for the methods, A for accuracy or for answers, R for reasoning, and AG for given answer given. So for R, the reasoning part, then for example, when we do the proof by mathematical induction or contradiction, then the students need to do the reasoning part, like 1 or 2 sentences, then it will be counted as reasoning. And for answer given, for AG, it's normally for the questions such as a simple proof or like showing the derivative of a certain function, then this will be the AG. And then the first one that we need to be aware as an educator, especially in mathematics, that we cannot give a full marks only based on from the correct answer. We need to check the working steps according to mark scheme. So we cannot say unless that's like 1 or 2 marks. If more than 1 mark, we cannot give a full marks based on the correct answer only. We need to follow the step by step on how the students do the working and the based on the marking scheme. It's normally you cannot give an A1, which is the answer, 1 mark for answer, if the method is 0. So for example, in this example, you cannot give A1 if you give M0, but you can give M1 with A0. Okay, that's the first one. Again, if you have questions or any inputs about the understanding to the mark scheme, please just pop up. This is a sharing session that we can share our experiences in marking the papers. The next one, if you have kind of this one, let me annotate. If you have like, oops, sorry, it's loading. If you have like this,
You can just use the cross sign that you have on the top. Yeah, we will go back to the
yeah,
slide.
okay, thank you. So if you have this part, M1 and A1 or A1 and A1 or any double or more than 1 marking, normally they will usually mean for an attempt for appropriate method and also for the answer. For example, this one, the students use the method and give the answer as f is increasing function. So that 1 for the method and 1 for the answer. All right. And the next one, when we have 2 or more answer or accuracy, like for example this one, it's normally for separated one. So A1 for this part, the first part, and the other A1 for this part. All right. And yeah, that's 1 mark for this part, 1 mark for this part. So normally if the student get wrong in one part of this and get right in the other part, they still get A1 as long as the method is correct. Next one, when we have, for example, M2 and 3 or etc., you cannot split the marks. So for example, this one, it's like directly A2. You cannot give A1 for a certain part or only like A1 for a certain part. You should give A2 for the whole thing, either it's correct or not, unless it's a note from the mark scheme, like a note for if a note that you can do that, so you can split the mark. And once the correct answer to the question or part question is seen, ignore the further correct working. So some cases on some students, they keep going on the certain steps and but they already get the answer. But you don't have to. You can ignore the further correct working. But if the further working indicates a lack of mathematics and in understanding, then you can you can decrease the mark for the final answer. Now this is also important. If you have a bracket in your either M or A, or either your method or accuracy, then this one, meaning the correct answer is it can be only awarded if the correct word is seen or implied. So you cannot give M1 and A1 if there is no method is seen. So this method must seen in the in the working step of the students. For the next one, within a question part, once an error is made, no further A marks can be awarded for the work. Yes, Mustafa, you raise your hand. Please go ahead.
Hello. I just want to ask about the mark between the brackets. You said it must
Okay,
be
yes.
shown, the method must be shown, or it couldn't be
Oh, the mark, the method. Normally for this one, you can directly give A1 if the method is correct. Okay, but you cannot give A1 if the method is not correct.
shown. Okay, I got your point.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? If you have any question, just pop up. Thank you, Mustafa. The next one, if you have once an error made, no further A marks can be awarded for work which is used the error, but the method can still be awarded. For example, these questions, you can give the students M1, A0, and M1 and A0. You cannot give the students M1, A0, M1, and A1 because the accuracy is already not correct, so you cannot give another A marks, but you can still give M marks, right? Next one, the marking scheme may use the word there in the description to indicate the candidates may be using an incorrect values. So for example, in this one, into their expression, so substitute the B into their expression. So whatever the B they get in the previous questions, they plug it in here and they get the M1 for the method. So that's what it means. Even though their answer is not as stated in the mark scheme, but as long as they use their answer, in this case, they substitute their answer to the expression that they get, then they still get the M1. Okay, if an error leads to inappropriate values, then do not award the marks for the final answer. And then exceptions to this rule will be explicitly noted on the mark scheme. Once again, be aware if at some point the mark scheme will give you a notes that how to specify the marking, how you specify the marking of the paper. Yeah, this is an example of the notes. For example, award M1 for attempt blah blah blah, and A1 for this certain requirement, and etc. And this one, if candidate makes an error in one part but gets the correct answers to subsequent part, award marks as appropriate. Again, based on the mark schemes, unless the question states hunch, then the previous answer or previous uh, formulas or whatever should be used in that question. If the questions becomes much simpler because of the misread, then they use this question to award the fewer marks. If the student misread the questions, then you can disgrace the final marks. If the misread leads to an appropriate value, do not award any marks for the final answer. And miscopying of the candidates on work is not considered as misread. Let's say the previous question, the students get X equals something, but they misuse that answer, then it's not considered as misread. And the misread penalty can only be applied when the work is for calculator questions with no working an incorrect answer, examiners should not infer that value were read incorrectly. And for certain questions, they might give you different methods on marking on how to answer the questions. Yeah, you may be already familiar with that. They have method 1, method 2, and etc. Each method will have a specific criteria. Some methods, different methods might have different marking criteria for the accuracy at the methods. So you need to be aware which method that the students are used. And within those part questions, the marking schemes will show you the either blah 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 and or. So let's say, for example, this one, either the students using this part within these three marks, or the students use the, so that the students have more options on how to solve the questions. All right. So as this is an international examination, accept all alternative form for notations. So different countries may use different notations. So it depends on the where it is. As long as it's international, as long as it has the same meaning, then it should be accepted. In the mark schemes, equivalent numerical and algebraic form will generally be written in the brackets next to it. For example, this part. So this the one on the left will be equals to the one on the right side. So if the have an equivalent part, then in the mark scheme will automatically state it like next to it on the right to it's inside the bracket. All right, in the mark scheme, simplified answer will generally appears in bracket. For example, this one, it might be similar to the previous case. The other answer is also appears in the bracket, as well as the simpler answer is also appear in the bracket. So in this case, the student will get A1, either they use the long one, the long answer, or the simpler answer. Rounding error only applies to the final answer, not to the immediate step. As a teacher, we need to be aware that we need to tell the students and show that the rounding parts should not be done during the calculation. It should only be done at the end of the calculation. And as well as, unless it's stated in the questions, the rounding should only use the 3 significant figures as stated in every papers at the beginning, at the cover page of each paper. And again, the rounding should only be done at the end, only at the end of the calculation, right? Not during the calculation, right? All right. So this is the example. Unless stated in the questions, then the rounding should only use the 3 significant figures, correct to the 3 significant figures. Accuracy for the answer, student must always use correct mathematical notation. No calculator notation are allowed. For example, when we type the what is it called, the standard form, the calculation will use the E as the symbols. It's not allowed in the exam. The students should always use the mathematical notation. Now, before we move to the marking exercise, if you have any questions, please raise your hand or state or just pop up. Please raise your hand or just pop up if you have any questions. If we don't have any questions, then we will go to give me a second.
Hendra, you can, okay, there is a question in the chat. It's from Mr. Anand, who is asking, it's same for IGCSE also. Can you please unmute Mr. Anand and ask? Yeah.
Okay. Yes, go ahead, Mr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good. Like marking it taught just now explained. So this will be same for IGCSE also, no?
At a certain point, some point will be different, but mostly in general, they will be the same. For example, the implied marks, the method, the accuracy. I think the only difference for the IGCSE and A level is the rounding errors.
Okay.
I think that's the
Thank you,
major
sir.
difference. Yeah, the others will be the same.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions? You may just raise your hand or type it in the chat box. Meanwhile, we have the practice. I will ask you to be in group later on using the breakout room. Sahili, can you help me to make the breakout room?
Yes, how many breakout rooms you want? We have 24 participants. Let's take 20 because 4 of us are new. So how many breakout rooms should I create?
Maybe 4 or 5. That would be nice. Not too many.
Okay, I'm creating 4 breakout rooms. Yeah.
Thank you. So everyone, you can get the link that Saheli already shared. So this is a sample workings from for different students, and we have 2 questions here. We have part A and part B. After you join the breakout room, I'll pop up to each room, and I hope that you have discussions. Maybe like about 20 minutes ish, that you can mark this for answers. At the end, we will discuss on why do you give that questions, that students that amount of marks.
Okay.
Okay.
So I
If
think now I
we
will open
yeah
all the rooms then, Hendra. Okay. And I have
okay
shared this
yeah
link in the chat. So request everyone to click on the link and keep it open for your reference. And I'm opening all the rooms. You will be assigned to the rooms automatically. Thank you.
Thank you, Saheli.
Request everyone to accept the breakout room, join breakout room options. You will get it on your screen, like you're invited to join room 1 or room 2. So request you to join that and have a productive communication with your group.
Everyone, please join to the breakout room. I'll pop up to your breakout room and see how the discussion is happening.
Yeah, Hendra, you can start. I guess I have put you in room
Yeah.
1, so you can join in room
Okay.
1 and then you can move to other breakout rooms as well. Yeah, we stay here.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes. They'll be
Thank
back in
you.
60 seconds. Yeah.
Mhm. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had meaningful discussion within your groups. I've seen most of the groups are doing a great discussions. Now, can maybe one from each group to share their marking progress, and if anyone have any objection or agree to that marking, let's discuss it here. Anyone wants to start? Yes, Anad, Mr. Anad.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So let's come to student A.
Yes.
So I gave, let me open the paper here. Yeah,
Give me
I gave,
a second. Let me share my screen. Yeah.
okay, okay, that will be great.
Yeah. Student A.
Yeah,
Please go
student A,
ahead,
I
Mr.
gave
Anand.
A1, 1 marks I gave.
For okay, A1 for
Yeah,
question A.
for P equal to minus R. Actually, marking scheme it is given for splitting the root, but he wrote the correct
Yeah.
answer 1/2. So I gave 1 marks there.
Yeah.
And B, and B
Yeah,
part,
that's correct.
he
Yep.
did properly, he integrated properly. So I gave 1 AA, and he put the values upper and lower limit both. So I gave M1 there. And because silly mistake calculation, I deduct 1 marks other answer. So I gave only 3 points.
Okay.
So total is 4.
Four for A and B.
For B student,
Okay. Wait, let's
I
discuss
gave
one by one then. It's student
okay,
A. Hold on a second, Mr. Anand.
okay.
For student A, does anyone have objections, or do you agree with what Mr. Anand say? Anyone, please just pop up.
We agree.
Agree? Yes.
Sir,
Who
we
is
should give
speaking?
the mark. So my name is Brajesh.
Yes, Rajesh.
Sir, we should give the marking like A1, then A1, M0, like that, or it should be the total mark we have to write.
As the examiner states, as the IDO or Cambridge or HDCC states, it's not necessary to give A1, to write it, to annotate A1, M1, etc. As long as you have the total marks. If you can write A1, M1, that would be great. Of course, it will take time, but it's not necessarily needed.
We can simply write
Yeah.
1 and 3. Simply we can write like that. For the
1 and 3, yes, maybe on the top of the here, or like 1 here and 3 here. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So about
Thanks.
student A,
Marking
thank
is
you,
correct.
Rajesh. Okay, student A, everyone agree with so the total is 4, right? Mr. Anand, your student A.
Yeah, yes, sir, correct.
Any
So-
objections from anyone about student A? No? Okay, let's go back to the mark scheme. In a question B, it's the M1 is inside the bracket. So what does it mean? M1 inside the bracket. So it means the implied marks. Implied marks cannot be given if the follow-up marks is not right. So you cannot give M1 and A0 in this case because the M1 is implied, which is in bracket, because the accuracy or the answer is not right. So that means you cannot give M1. In this case, of course, if we have a subjective judgment because it's our students. As I'm talking in examiner point of view, in this case, the question B for a student A, I can only give A1, A1. So the total mark for A and B is only 3 because the M1 here is implied and the A1, the last A1 is not correct. Yes, Mustafa, Mr. Mustafa, go
Yeah.
ahead.
I think I'm objecting to your point because I think the M1 here is stated for not an implied mark unit. It means that the student can skip this point. He
Yeah.
doesn't have, the candidate doesn't have to show this method mark if the
Yes.
the final
Answer is correct.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
the final answer is correct, then he could take the M1 and A1. However, if the
Yes,
final
automatically.
answer is, yeah. However, if the final answer isn't
Then-
correct, but he showed the substitution, he can get the M1 because the M1 is just written for the substituting. If he does the substituting without finding the final answer correctly, he can take the M1 because here it's written in front of the sentence. I mean, you have a point in other mark schemes, but here it's just given in front of the point, in front of the sentence of substituting. You got my point? The M1 here is just substituting the limit. In other cases, your point is correct, but here, because it's written in front of the sentence, then the M1 should be given.
Okay, so let's get back to the slides. It says implied marks appear in bracket. Example in M1. Let me show you the slide. Where is it? It's give me a second. It's slide implied marks.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, actually, even PPT, I see student, so the steps in detail and the working is there and it is correct. So we need to award marks. No? So that's why we gave one in this case. If it is without,
but let's go back to the
directly, then we can cut marks.
Okay, so it says
But
implied
here he
marks appear in brackets M1 and can only be awarded if correct works is seen or if implied in subsequent working. Yeah, you're right. So since they substitute the correct values but they calculated at the end wrong, then M1 still be given. Right, you're right. Sorry, I missed that point.
Yes.
So in this case, the student A will get 4 points. Thank you, Mustafa. All right. Yes, Mustafa. Again, do you have any?
No, I just forgot. Lauren.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, Daniel. Mr. Daniel.
Yeah, thank you. But I have a question here. What if the M1 wasn't in brackets? How could we?
If
how
M1 wasn't,
we have marked that?
If M1 wasn't in bracket, then the working step must seen. It has to be seen. In this case, since the M1 in bracket, this working step doesn't have to be seen. The students can directly get the final answer. That's the difference. If not bracket M1, this line has to be seen in the student's answer.
Now it makes more sense. I get it.
Yeah. For students B, C, and D, I think they most likely with the same case, but let's go to student B. Anyone wants to shout out their opinion for student B?
Can I?
Yes, Mr. Anand. Yes, go ahead, please.
For student B, according to marking scheme, everything is correct. So I gave A1 for first one and AA and M1 for second one. It's total full marks.
Full marks. Everyone agree
Yeah.
with that? Yeah, it's full mark for student B. For student C and D, I think they have a similar
Yeah.
case. Let's just choose one, yeah? Let's choose
In
Mr. Anand,
can
you
I
wanna go ahead?
yeah, student
Yes, sir.
C, I gave 1 marks because it is similar to student A first question, that answer
Yeah.
P half. But if you look
Yeah.
B part, the second step itself is wrong. The second step. Then
For student C?
because second step.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is wrong. So after that onwards, all steps are wrong only. So we give awarded 0 marks.
Yeah. Can you state why is it wrong on the second step?
No, the denominator was root x, right? The denominator was root x. So where it went, to subtract, then there should be 3 minus 5 root x. We forgot to
Yes.
remove root x in second part.
Okay. Yeah.
So I gave
And
only 1
even more
marks.
so for the total marks. Yes, for C and D, right?
So for D is 1 marks I gave for first one, and I gave only 1 marks for third line because the second step is correct. He split the numerator properly. He integrate the first term 3x, and the second time he forgot to integrate. After that, everything is wrong. So I awarded only A1.
Okay.
Because first part is correct.
All right.
3x.
But you need
So
to
total 2
be aware
points.
about this, Mr. Anand. You need to be aware
Yes.
about the questions. If you pay attention to question B, it says hunch, right? So whatever
Yeah.
you get in the A, you need to use
Directly. Yeah, use the previous one to find
directly.
the next one.
Yes. But in this case, it's student D. In B, do the student B use the
Yeah,
whatever
he
they
used the
get?
previous
Yeah.
one only. Yeah.
Yes. So that's for A1. Thank you. So total 2 for student D.
Yeah, correct.
2 marks. Okay. Does anyone have any further questions or objections or anything regarding to the markings of these 4 students? Please raise your hand or just pop up if you have anything to say. If not, then we can end the session. Before we end the sessions, maybe if we can share a few tips on how do we prepare our students for facing the final exam, either that's for IB or IGCSE or A level. Maybe you can write it in the text or in the chat box. If you have any experience on how do we prepare the students, our students successfully for their final test in this case. Yes, Pundit, please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, for my case, because mathematics is a subject that should be practiced, I always give my learners past papers questions and guide them on areas on how they can be marked. So the very learners, the very students can even mark those papers by themselves, so that they are keen enough to give all the procedures expected by the examination and capable of marking the exam. So they'll post good results when they know where to get the marks correctly.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pundit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, Hendra, we have another reflection from Mr. Mustafa. He says, and I quote, I always share with my students an official mark scheme for past papers so they can know how examiners are correcting.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you, Mr. Mustafa. Yeah, as a teacher, our rules is to share the resources as many as possible and also equip ourselves on what are the expectations from the either IB or Cambridge, and then we can guide them. We can guide the students on how to reach that expectations. Yeah. Anyone else that have or want to share anything about the?
There is a in the chat, but it is not regarding the preparations.
Okay.
Minsha, yes, she's asking when can we apply for an IB examiner for math? So if you can just share your ideas about.
I don't think I have the right answer to that, but if you want to be the examiner, just go check the IBO website, or if you want to be the Cambridge examiner, check the Cambridge examiner. they normally will post like anytime they want. Just if you're lucky enough when you're checking, then you can just directly apply. But I don't know the exact time.
You can keep an eye on IBO and check their vacancies anytime they post, and you can apply. Or maybe your school coordinator can help you as well with this.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Maybe before we end this session, Saheli, I need to briefly introduce
walk them through for the
our
next session. Yeah.
Yes, for the next sessions. For the next week session, we will have a deeper understanding for the internal assessment, and if in mathematics we call it mathematic exploration, or IA. We will discuss about what is the internal assessment, the how do we select the strong aim for the students, and what kind of mathematic explorations that the students can do, and yeah, of course we will look up to the specific criterion for the 5 criterions that we have specifically for each of them. And then if we still have time, we might marks an IA that released by IB, and yeah, we can have the work up at the end. I think that's it. If you still have any questions or regarding the internal or external assessment, maybe we can. Yeah,
Hendra,
Sahil?
there is one reflection from Siahan. He says, and I quote, based on my experience, I still gave MS to students, mark schemes to students, but I told them that to decide their score is my decision, so they always listen to the teacher. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, yeah. As a math teacher, we need to be strict. Yeah, the sharing the mark scheme to the students is a good idea. I also do that to my students, but again, they need to understand how do we mark based on the criteria, based on the Cambridge or IB. So they understand it's just because their answer is correct doesn't mean they will get the full marks. So just be sure that they understand that. Okay, Sahili, I think that's the end of the workshop.
Yes, I think that's a wrap for the session. And I request everyone to please fill the feedback form so that we can issue your attendance and the certificate as well. So please fill it up and then you can leave the session once you submit the form. If you have already done it, then you are free to go. We'll let you go. Otherwise, we'll keep. So please fill the feedback form and submit. Thanks everyone for joining and for the support.
Thank you, everyone.
I wish you all a very happy weekend.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this workshop, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hendra, for the wonderful and insightful session, Hendra. And the next session is scheduled on 13th of July. So we are hoping to see you all again to complete your learning with Hendra. So yeah, till then, bye-bye. And have a wonderful weekend.
See you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Hendra. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Hendra. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Please make sure you have filled the feedback form. Thank you so
ma'am,
much
done,
for
it's done.
joining. Thank you, Mr. Anand, for your participation.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Nizar. Thank you, Mustafa. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Daniel. Bye. Take care.
Bye bye. You're welcome.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, Atik. Thanks, Mona. Thanks, Tosin. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'll just wait for 1 more minute and then I'll close the session for everyone. Please make sure you have filled the feedback form. If you have not done it, I'm just sharing it for the last time in the chat. Please complete, submit, and leave so that you will be entitled with the certificate. So please make sure you complete the submission.
All right, bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.